All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into something called high availability server technology. And listen, if you think that's just a topic for your IT department, you're going to want to stick around. We're looking at a report from Virtualization Options LLC, and our goal here is to translate the tech talk into what it really means for you as a leader, keeping your business always on.
So, let's just cut right to the chase with the one question that really matters to any business leader. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What does one single hour of your critical systems being down actually cost? We're not talking about a small inconvenience. We're talking lost sales, angry customers, and a real hit to your reputation. Keep that number in your head.
To get our heads around this, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with the why, the business side of things. Then we'll get into the core ideas, the hardware, the software, and wrap it all up with the big picture, strategy, and what's coming next.
Okay, first up, why is this such a big deal? Let's talk about why being always on is absolutely non-negotiable today.
I mean, think about it. We live in a world that never sleeps, right? Your customers, your partners, even your own employees, they expect everything to just work 24/7. So the real challenge here isn't just, keeping the servers humming. It's about meeting this fundamental expectation that your business is always open, always responsive, without a single hiccup. Okay, so we've got the why down. Now let's unpack the what. We're going to define the 3 core principles that actually make this whole always-on thing a reality.
First up is uptime. This is really the scorecard, the ultimate metric. It's simply the percentage of time your systems are running and available. And for high availability, the gold standard is what we call the 9s, 99.9% or even better. That translates to just minutes of potential downtime over an entire year. It's an incredibly demanding target.
So how in the world do you hit that kind of uptime? The answer is redundancy. The best way to think about this is like an insurance policy, but for your technology. You're basically duplicating all the critical parts: power, networking, storage, the servers themselves. Why? So there's no single point of failure. If one thing breaks, it doesn't matter, because your business just keeps on humming.
And that leads us perfectly into failover. See, if redundancy is the insurance policy, failover is the magic that makes it work. It's the completely automatic, totally seamless process of switching over to that backup component the instant something goes wrong. This is what makes redundancy actually useful when a real problem hits.
Let's actually walk through how this happens. So, step 1, a problem occurs. This isn't just some blinking red light. Sophisticated monitoring systems spot a failure instantly. Step 2, the switch happens. All the work, all the data, all the operations get rerouted to the backup system. And here's the most important part. Step 3, from your customer's perspective, nothing happened. Service is totally uninterrupted. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, let's get into the how. Part 1 is the physical stuff, the hardware foundation. And we're not talking about the kind of computers you have on your desk. This is about building on a base of specialized, seriously resilient hardware from the ground up. A system like this has to start with enterprise-grade components, stuff that's designed to run nonstop under a heavy load. You've got powerful server-grade CPUs and this special type of memory called ECC memory. That stands for error-correcting code. It literally finds and fixes tiny data errors on the fly before they can cause a crash. And of course, you've got redundant power supplies, fault-tolerant cooling. You get the idea. Let's take storage, for instance. A critical technology here is RAID, the redundant array of independent disks. Honestly, the easiest way to picture it is like having a whole set of spare tires for your company's most valuable asset, its data. If one of your hard drives fails, and they do, the other drives in the array step in immediately, so not a single byte of data is lost and the system just keeps right on chugging.
But great hardware is only half the equation. Now we get to the software layer. And this is where modern systems have made these incredible leaps in flexibility and resilience that you just couldn't imagine a decade ago.
And this slide really shows the game-changing shift. Old school systems were, monolithic. One huge, tangled application. If one little piece failed, the entire thing could come crashing down. Modern systems, on the other hand, use what we call microservices. They break that giant application into lots of small, independent services. Now, if one of them fails, it doesn't take everything else down with it.
It contains the blast radius, which is a huge deal for resilience.
And managing all this modern software takes a pretty sophisticated toolkit. You've got virtualization, which lets you move applications around between physical machines without missing a beat. Super important for a fast failover. Then you have things like container orchestration. Think of Kubernetes or Docker as a super smart air traffic controller for all your applications. It's constantly making sure everything is running, scaling it up or down as needed, and automatically restarting anything that fails. And of course, database replication keeps multiple perfectly synced copies of your data. It all works together to create a system that can basically heal itself.
All right, let's pull all this together. We've talked about the why, the what, and the how. Now, for the so what. Let's talk strategy, cost, the return on investment, and where all of this is heading.
Okay, first things first, let's be real. This isn't cheap. The report we're drawing from puts the average annual total cost of ownership for a true enterprise-grade, high-availability setup at around $3.5 million. It's a serious investment. But here's what I find really fascinating. Look at where that money actually goes. It's not just buying the hardware and the software licenses. Almost half of that total cost is in ongoing operations, things like power, cooling, and the staff to monitor it all. That really drives home the point that high availability is an ongoing commitment, not just a one-and-done project.
But, and this is a huge but, when you weigh that cost against the cost of downtime, remember that number you thought of at the beginning? The business case becomes crystal clear. The data shows that most companies see a full payback on this investment in about 2.5 years. Why? Because they're avoiding those catastrophic, revenue-crushing outages. And look, this isn't just theory. The results are out there in the real world. You have a major e-commerce company saying they maintain 99.99% uptime during their biggest sales event of the year. That's not just a tech metric. That's millions of dollars in revenue protected right when it mattered most.
For other companies, the big win is all about operational efficiency. By having failover happen automatically, their super smart, very expensive tech teams aren't stuck putting out fires all day. They're freed up to do what you actually hired them to do: innovate and build what's next for your business.
And then you have folks in industries like finance, where mistakes are just not an option. For them, it's about getting ahead of the game entirely. With comprehensive monitoring, they can spot bottlenecks and predict potential failures before they ever impact a single customer. It completely flips the script from reactive firefighting to proactive strategy.
And this whole field is not standing still, not by a long shot. The tech is getting smarter, it's getting faster. We're seeing AI get involved not just to react to failures, but to actually predict them. We're seeing a push towards edge computing, which moves services physically closer to users for even better speed and resilience. The goal is shifting from just recovering from failure to preventing it from ever happening in the first place.
So when you put it all together, the takeaway from this is pretty simple, and it leaves us with a critical question. Is your current technology infrastructure a hidden risk, a ticking time bomb waiting to go off? Or is it your secret weapon, your greatest competitive asset? Because in today's world, high availability isn't an IT line item anymore. It's a fundamental business strategy for winning in an always-on economy.